There exists a country where the head of state changes every 6 months, and there are always 2 of them at the same time. A place where you can legally own 20 firearms, but slamming a car door is against the law. Where the army still trains with crossbows, yet hasn't fought a war in centuries. It's smaller than Manhattan, yet once sheltered over 100,000 refugees during a war, more than 6 times its own population. It has no airport, no coastline, and no mineral resources. And yet, it's one of the richest nations on Earth, with 0 national debt. In 1797, Napoleon Bonaparte himself offered it land and access to the sea. They said, no. It has survived invasions, dictators, and even a mistaken Allied bombing without ever losing its independence. This is not a fairy tale. This is the real story of San Marino. San Marino, a sovereign republic founded in the year 301 AD by a Christian stonemason fleeing Roman persecution. The oldest surviving republic in the world, older than most modern nations by over 1,000 years. Just 61.19 square kilometers in size, 5th smallest country on Earth, 3rd smallest in Europe, and yet its history, culture, and political resilience have made it a giant in survival. So here's the question: how does a country this small last this long? Let's find out. San Marino is an enclave, completely surrounded by Italy. Its border with its only neighbor stretches just 40 kilometers. And yet, within this tiny footprint lies a landscape that defies expectations. The country is dominated by the rugged Apennine Mountains, with its crown jewel, Monte Titano, rising 739 meters above sea level. From its summit on a clear day, you can see all the way to the Adriatic Sea, a visual contradiction for a landlocked nation. Perched on Monte Titano are the 3 towers of San Marino. Guaita, dating back to the 11th century. Cesta, standing on the highest peak. And Montale, the smallest, privately owned and closed to the public. A scenic walkway called the Witch's Path connects the first 2, offering views that stretch across Italy's rolling hills to the distant coastline. Despite its size, San Marino has microclimates, pockets of different weather and growing conditions within minutes of each other. Here, you can find Mediterranean staples like olives and grapes, growing alongside crops that prefer cooler conditions. It has no mineral resources left. Centuries of quarrying Monte Titano exhausted its stone reserves. All its electricity is imported from Italy. And yet, a surprising amount of its land is cultivated or forested, supporting wheat, maize, and vineyards. Its biodiversity is remarkable for such a small, developed space. Oak, beech, chestnut, wild olive, peregrine falcons, wild boar. This is a country that has learned to live in balance with its environment, protecting it through a biodiversity plan for 2030. Geography has been both shield and prison. The mountains made San Marino a natural fortress, helping it resist invasions. But its landlocked position and lack of resources forced it to innovate, turning to tourism, stamps, and coins as economic lifelines. San Marino's culture is a paradox, ancient rituals alongside cutting-edge modernity. The Crossbow Corps, founded in 1295, still performs in medieval uniforms, their weapons more symbolic than practical. Every April 1st and October 1st, the nation elects 2 Captains Regent in ceremonies that have remained unchanged for centuries: parades, court dances, and the formal transfer of power. Despite sharing language and many customs with Italy, San Marino's identity is fiercely distinct. Call a local Italian and you may get a polite but firm correction. Business here is built on relationships, not speed. Punctuality matters in formal settings, but social life moves at a gentler pace. And then there's the linguistic treasure. Italian is official, but many still speak Romagnol, specifically the endangered San Marinese dialect recognized by UNESCO as definitely endangered. Religion is predominantly Catholic. 91.5% identify as Christian, but Catholicism is not the state religion. Only about half of those who identify as Catholic actively practice. Education is free and compulsory from ages 6 to 14, with a literacy rate of 98%. The University of San Marino, founded in 1995, houses over 30,000 books, including 200 manuscripts from before the 18th century. And here's a cultural paradox worth noting. San Marino is home to advanced digital companies in AI and blockchain, yet still governs itself with statutes written in 1600. The capital, also called San Marino, has just 4,000 residents. It's not even the largest municipality. That's Saraval, with 11,500. The political system is a unitary parliamentary representative democratic republic. But with a twist. 2 Captains Regent serve as joint heads of state and government for only 6 months at a time. This system has been in place since 1243, inspired by the Roman Republic. After their term ends, citizens have 3 days to file complaints against them, a safeguard against abuse of power. There's no prime minister. The Secretary of State for Foreign and Political Affairs is the closest equivalent. The Grand and General Council, 60 members elected every 5 years, governs the country. Coalition governments are common, as no single party usually wins a majority. San Marino has no single written constitution. Its laws are built on centuries-old statutes and evolving legislation. It was early to grant women the vote in 1960 and legalized abortion by referendum in 2021. But it's not without contradictions. It ranks among the freest economies in the world, yet has strict defamation laws that can encourage self-censorship. It champions democracy, yet women hold only 19 of 60 parliamentary seats. And its history includes moments of high drama, like the 1957 Fatti di Rovreta constitutional crisis, when a political deadlock led to 2 rival governments, one operating from an abandoned factory, backed by Italian carabinieri, or the 2017 Conto Mazzini scandal, which saw former heads of state convicted of corruption and money laundering. San Marino's history reads like a series of improbable victories. Founded in 301 AD by Saint Marinus, a stonemason from Dalmatia fleeing persecution, it began as a small Christian community on Mount Titano. In 1463, it expanded not through conquest, but by alliance, rewarded with new territory by Pope Pius II after helping defeat a local tyrant. In 1543, an attempted invasion was stopped by a miraculous fog that disoriented enemy troops. In 1797, Napoleon offered it land and a seaport. They refused, choosing to remain small and independent. In 1849, Giuseppe Garibaldi sought refuge here with 250 followers. San Marino's hospitality helped secure its independence during Italian unification. In 1861, it granted honorary citizenship to Abraham Lincoln, who praised it as proof that Republican government could endure. In 1865, it became the first country in Europe to abolish the death penalty. In 1944, despite declaring neutrality, it was bombed by Allied forces who mistook it for an enemy position. Later that year, it sheltered over 100,000 refugees, an act of humanitarianism unmatched for a country of its size. And in 2022, it elected Paolo Rondelli as one of its Captains Regent, the world's first openly gay head of state. For a country with no mineral resources, no airport, and a population smaller than many city neighborhoods, San Marino's economy is nothing short of astonishing. Its per capita GDP in 2023 was almost $53,000, ranking 17th in the world. It has no national debt and runs a budget surplus. Tourism is a cornerstone, drawing millions each year to its medieval streets, towers, and panoramic views. But San Marino's economic genius lies in the unexpected: the sale of its own postage stamps and coins to collectors worldwide. These aren't just souvenirs, they're a multi-million euro industry made possible by its sovereignty. Banking and financial services account for more than half of GDP, aided by low corporate taxes and low taxes on interest earnings. Manufacturing thrives in niches: ceramics, textiles, furniture, clothing, wines, and even specialized machinery. And then there's the high-tech pivot. A new regime offers 0% corporate tax for the first 3 years to IT companies, then just 4% for the next 4 years, and 8% for the next 5. 12 years of ultra-low taxes in a country with political stability and EU-adjacent access. Its trade profile is equally surprising. In 2023, it exported $224 million worth of goods, including washing and bottling machines, packaged medicaments, woodworking machines, and even aircraft components. Its top markets: Germany, Austria, the United States, Romania, and Brazil. Imports totaled $389 million, led by cars, electricity, animal food, raw aluminium, and petroleum gas. Italy is a key partner, but Germany tops the list of suppliers. And here's the paradox: one of the richest countries per capita in the world, yet it imports all its electricity from abroad. San Marino's borders are invisible, no passport checks, no customs booths, but its rules for belonging are among the strictest on Earth. It's not in the EU or Schengen, but because it's surrounded by Italy, Schengen visa rules apply in practice. Visitors from countries like the United States can stay up to 90 days without a visa. But if you want to stay longer or become a citizen, the story changes. For most people, citizenship requires over 30 years of continuous residence. If you marry a San Marinese citizen, that drops to 10 years. Dual citizenship is generally not allowed for new citizens. You must renounce your previous nationality. Children born in San Marino are citizens only if both parents are San Marinese, or if one is and both parents declare the choice after the child turns 18. There are residency by investment programs. Deposit 600,000 euros in a local bank, or buy property worth at least 500,000 euros, and you can get elective residence. After 10 years, that can become full registered residence. For wealthy pensioners, there's a special program. Show an annual income of 120,000 euros and 300,000 euros in assets held in a San Marino bank, and you get a 6% tax rate for 10 years. The paradox is clear. Historically, San Marino was a haven for refugees, taking in over 100,000 during World War II. Today, it's one of the hardest countries in the world to join permanently. Visiting San Marino is like stepping into a living diorama of history, but with quirks you won't find anywhere else. After the day trippers leave, the UNESCO-listed historic center becomes quiet, almost timeless. Walking the Witch's Path between the towers at sunset feels like crossing into legend. You can visit the Philatelic and Numismatic Office to see the stamps and coins that helped fund the nation. For €5, you can get a souvenir passport stamp, a tangible reminder of visiting a country without border controls. Twice a year, on April 1st and October 1st, you can witness the investiture of the Captains Regent, a political ritual unchanged for centuries. Practical tips: don't call locals Italians. Wear comfortable shoes. The capital is built on steep cobblestone streets. Don't rely solely on Google Maps. The old city's multi-level layout can confuse GPS. And remember, restaurants keep traditional hours, so plan your meals accordingly. A moderate daily budget is 80 to 150 euros per person, covering mid-range lodging, meals, and attractions. The cable car from Borgo Maggiore to the capital costs €5 round trip and takes just 2 minutes. San Marino is proof that survival isn't always about size, power, or resources. It's about identity, about knowing exactly who you are and refusing to compromise that even when history's giants come knocking. This is a country that turned down Napoleon's gift of land, that sheltered 6 times its population in wartime, that governs itself with laws written before Shakespeare was born, and still thrives in the digital age. Its story is a reminder that, in a world obsessed with growth, sometimes the greatest strength is choosing to remain exactly as you are. So now you know the truth about the world's oldest republic, a nation smaller than many cities, yet richer in history, paradox, and resilience than most empires. If you could ask the Captains Regent one question about how they've kept San Marino free for 1,700 years, what would it be? Share this story because somewhere out there, someone still believes that small means weak, and San Marino is living proof they're wrong.